All right, this is the Monday Night Game Forum. Christopher's dealing with audio problems or something like that. And we can see Grant.
For the first time. Well, second time, I think, right?
Second time. There's Grant. This is his face. That's the episode. Bye.
He doesn't exist. Later.
Episode
are we streaming live?
47.
Yes.
Radicals and Extremists.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about. But first, wait, who do we have? We got Christopher, Secure Coop, Jeremy, Do We Like Donuts, and Homestead of Pain. That dude. Who thinks he's radical?
Homestead we're going to be.
Christopher, go ahead and share an personal event.
Well, yesterday I got to be on Tim Toolman Cook's podcast. That was really cool.
Hey, cool.
Yeah.
What about?
You know that conversation we had a few months ago about communications?
Yes.
And I had the illegal one, and I covered all that. And
I do remember that.
Yeah. So I got to do that presentation again, and I really enjoyed it.
Let me look that up. Let's see if it's live already. Is it live already?
It is. Yeah.
Dirt cheap emergency communications. How to meet 80% of your needs for $30. Christopher Dividal. Hey, I know that guy.
I remember that.
That's me.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Neat. Was that your first time on Tim's show?
First time on Tim's show, and he invited me back whenever I finished Secure Coop. But I'm talking with him now about doing a different episode, Redneck Energy Generation. So that ought to be interesting.
Sounds intriguing.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Jeremy, go ahead.
Personal event. Harvested onions for the first time ever this week.
Yeah?
That
was pretty cool. I mean, I just put a TikTok video up like 20 minutes ago about it. They're like this big, and then there's some that are like this big.
I just saw your one about potatoes.
Those are your salad onions.
They are. Yeah. Potatoes. Yeah. Like I threw some potatoes in a straw bale. Like, yeah, we'll see what happens.
If I could get a trailer of straw bales, that would be the perfect way, really, to break the ground. I mean, if you wanted to build like 100 by 100 food plot, you just put the whole thing with hay bales and then start growing in that until it'll
deteriorate. And yeah. I've heard a lot of people say that you can do. I mean, they'll grow like tomatoes in straw bales, but they let them age for months.
You don't really have to. If you feel like
a straw bale for like maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, just put dirt in the hole with them. They don't need much.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
2 handfuls of dirt. And you're
good. Don't you need to inoculate the straw bale so that it has something going on in there?
I don't know. I just figured, you know what? Down. I've got seed potatoes that are about to die, and I've got a straw bale that I have nothing to do with.
There you go.
See what happens.
There it is. Match made in heaven.
Experimental. Let's just see what happens. But yeah, harvested onions for the first time. That was pretty exciting because I've never grown onions. I've always been intimidated by onions and garlic for whatever reason.
Same.
And so I've grown both this year for the first time.
I've never done either. I don't even think I'm going to get any sort of harvest this year. So.
Uh-oh. Well, so onions, I mean, you plant your seeds in the fall if you're going to grow them from seed. Or you can plant bulbs in the spring, onion sets. Like you can buy onion sets, which are started from seed in the fall, and then they're harvested and sold to you as little bitty onions. And you can plant those in the spring. But I've never, and there's there's early onions and mid onions and late onions and
short day onions.
Yeah. Short day, midday, and long day onions. And I'm like, I don't even know what the heck that means, but it means, Grant, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has to do with your growing season, right?
I would say, the growing season or the amount of sun you get. I don't exactly know. I haven't really ever tried.
See, onions. It's a mystery to all of us.
Yeah. I've tried.
But I got enough of a harvest for me to say, you know what? I felt pretty good about this. I'll do it better next year.
And for me, I've tried corn. I haven't done.
Same.
I did buy some onion sets one year, planted them out. They didn't do really anything. But again, I'm growing on 3-4 hours of sun, 5 hours max. But I don't have any garden space there.
Yeah. And so anyway, for me, that was a pretty cool, okay, I've been sitting on these waiting for 2 months to see what kind of harvest, if any, we're going to get from these onions. And to have some of them. Did you wait until
the tops fell over?
Yeah, the tops fell over. And I had a couple of them that actually started to go to seed. They started to bolt, or whatever it's called with onions. For some reason, I was thinking onions had a different name, but yeah, no, it's so yeah, pretty excited about that.
Grant, what's your big news?
We got
I
got
got one of three.
Well, why don't you give me a guess, Jeremy?
Married, baby,
Another cat.
or the land.
It's the
Nope.
land.
The land.
So we
I thought it was going to be the truck.
Oh yeah, I got a truck.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was.
You got two personal events.
Yeah, I got
It's
two.
all
I
Rolls
got a
rocking.
2008 Toyota Tundra. Love it already.
Nice.
And then
4-wheel drive.
No.
You crashed the other thing yet?
What other thing?
Whatever you're driving.
No, it just wasn't mine.
Oh, okay.
And then
Suburban, right?
Yeah, the Suburban. And then we got a call today from my dad's aunt, and she said she had to meet with the judge today, and then go under oath and everything, and he appointed her to be, I guess, gave her approval to sell the land for her husband's sons.
Like a power of attorney thing.
Yeah, similar.
Okay. Yep.
So that was very good. So now we can move forward, and now we know whether we can get it or not. The only problem is going to be dollar signs.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Any idea what that's going to cost?
Realistically, I would say $8,000 an acre for 13 acres. There's a house on it, but the house is appraised at like $28,000. The house is built in 1875.
Yeah.
It's like 1,700 square feet. It needs a whole lot of work. We're gonna have it appraised. Yeah. We're gonna have everything appraised. It's gotta be surveyed. As long as they don't come back and be like, "No, we're gonna do 15 an acre," that's not gonna be possible. So if it's somewhere,
it's got to be fair market value.
The fair market value that it's taxed on, or that it like 40%, it's $6,900 an acre. So I would say around 8,000 an acre on the low end, or on the medium end, 6,000 on the low end, 10,000 on the high end.
Yeah.
And if they come back with a unrealistic number, then we just can't do it. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Then you just got to move to Alabama.
104,000 plus.
If we don't get this, then I just might. Yeah, I might move to Alabama.
Find you some tax deeds.
Yeah, I just might.
Yeah.
long game there.
It really is. I put in a bid on a bunch of them a week and a half ago.
Cool.
Let's see if it takes.
Still not your 3 down the road, huh?
No, man, it's still not out there yet. They haven't put out the 2023 list yet. I keep it every Friday. Friday about 3:00 in the afternoons when they update it.
And you think it'll be on that one?
I thought it would be on it a month ago.
Yeah.
So every Friday I'm checking it, but
yeah.
Either way, I got 3 acres, 10 minutes down the road. But
nice.
Oh, so you feel confident that you'll be able to get it?
Well, the 3 acres, 10 minutes down the road, I've already got.
Oh.
There's 3 acres within walking distance that I want.
Yeah, that's what I'm having.
That's the one that I really want.
Okay.
It's just delinquents. I'd have to sit on it for 5 years, but
I got you.
You got to get in on that stuff. I found almost 200 acres, but it was on hold, whatever the heck that means.
Oh. And probably means somebody with deeper wallets got to it first.
It was a development that went bad.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
Oh yeah, we got stupid amounts of rain this weekend, specifically yesterday. Like
I saw the flooding.
Dude, it rained 3 inches in 3 hours. That doesn't happen here. That's dumb. And it's raining now. It's thunderstorm now. So
they're messing with the weather.
It's not the government. It's just public corporations do it now.
I asked Bill Gates and George Soros in a public tweet, please turn off the cloud seeding.
Did they respond?
No. Guy had a good comment though. That was funny.
That's a good one though.
And so if I cut out, that's my internet went to crap, and now I'm looking at a turkey out my window. So
that's why because of the rain. I'm distracted. The internet went up because I was like, what? Like
the turkey ate my internet.
Or Bill Gates shut you down.
Yeah, he's a turkey to do it.
That's not actually a turkey; it's a drone.
Right.
Birds aren't real. That's the conspiracy.
Yeah, the birds aren't real.
Yeah.
Turkey is
I think
looking
that is so
awful
dumb.
weird. So yeah, radicals and extremists. So Ted died this weekend. That was like the big news. And
So sad.
man,
So sad.
I just had to point out the irony out of everyone tweeting about Ted dying. That's all I wanted to say. Nobody else found that funny?
No.
I found that ironic.
I gotta be honest.
I think I follow you because his thing about technology.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so like there's tons of people that are like, I saw one in particular, I won't name names. It's a bigger account. He's like, in this household, Ted Kaczynski's a true hero or something. Then it's like, shut up. No, he's not. Like that's fake. That's a stupid post. And you're probably one of the first people he would have bombed back in the 80s. So shut up. Stupid people be tweeting stupid things.
What about Ted Kaczynski didn't kill himself? Has that been out there?
I don't know. I don't know if it's been out there. I mean, he's been struggling with cancer for a while. Maybe they finally just killed him. They'd had enough of him. One thing.
So I don't know what was his cause of death.
Cancer.
Okay.
Officially, I guess. Closely. Yeah.
So yeah, and Epstein's was suicide, right?
Yeah. I did want to say
I would believe the one about Ted because like what's he got? I mean, like he doesn't have a Rolodex full of names.
Right. Just targets.
And as long as he's locked up, right?
So for everybody that isn't right here on this men's forum, after the last men's forum, somebody here, I won't say who, thought Unabomber was just one target, like that he only made one bomb, and that he would be a Octobomber if given the chance.
It was a good joke.
Unabomber.
It was a
Unibomber.
It was
for
a
university, not Uno bomber. Right?
It was a joke.
He couldn't handle losing at Uno or something and just started bombing.
It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny.
It was really damn funny. It was very funny. So, what is the difference between a radical and an extremist? Never out of embarrassment.
No.
He's lighting up over there.
Let's see if I get.
So I think
radicals and extreme.
I think radicals are more about thoughts and ideas, whereas extremists are about action.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah,
a radical noun, a person who advocates thorough or complete political or social reform.
You can tell we're well prepared.
And I can't even. But like, I would even go so far as to say a radical is not necessarily an evil person. They just have radical ideas.
I don't even think an extremist is an evil person. Depends on the
extremist. Depends on what you're extreme about. Sure.
Yeah.
And depends on why they're extreme.
Which I guess it depends on if you agree with their extreme views.
Yeah.
Sure. An extremist is a person who holds an extreme or fanatical political or religious view, especially one who resorts to or advocates extreme action, such as violence. So.
But it doesn't always have to be violence.
So extremists
doesn't have to always be violence. Right. Like so I would say like Jesus was a radical and or extremist.
I think he was both, yeah. I would agree. I would agree with that he was a radical and an extremist.
An extremist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
My
kid's out my window. Go ahead.
Oh, it's still daylight there, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like. That's an interesting point, though, about like Jesus being a radical and an extremist, because so many people today, the right-wing conservatives that are pro-Trump, pro-Jesus, and then it's like they think that Jesus fits in this little box of conservative, and no, like Jesus would in today's day would probably be labeled a liberal.
Yeah. Like a liberal socialist? definitely a socialist.
I don't know if he'd fit in that category, but
he wouldn't fit in the category. Correct. He would not fit in that category, into that box. But but the I think the conservatives would see him more liberal, and the liberals would maybe see him even more conservative. Like he would.
Yeah, if you think about the Pharisees are like the Southern Baptists in many ways. You know, they were.
You have to elaborate on that. We're not up to.
Oh, no, you guys don't have Southern Baptists. They are the more politically conservative, traditional, mom and pop, apple pie. They hold to their own ideas, and they're they push out a lot of people who disagree, and they don't have a lot of. At least this is the exaggerated stereotype of them. There's a lot of great.
The people that say that you can't drink and go to church.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's a very.
Yeah.
I drink and go to church. So. At a Southern Baptist
drink
church.
on my way to church.
Not on the way to church.
And
have your wife drive.
Lest I get any angry comments about Southern Baptists, it's a very enormous denomination, so you got a lot of spectrum. But just the stereotype is the prude mom and pop, mom and conservative father who just don't like these changes and don't like. They want to go to church on Sunday and work on Monday.
Can't have your shorts or your skirt above your knees, and which that's going away a lot. Anyway,
and I think Jesus was that. I think if you could transport back in time, the Southern Baptists would be those Pharisees. That'd be the kinds of people. There's a lot of good exceptions.
Sure.
Is there another group of people that would be considered? Let me back up. Can you be an extremist without being a radical?
I would say no. I'd say first you have to be radicalized before you do extreme things to buildings or people.
What if you could? So let's say if a radical is somebody that has non-conventional ideas or kind of, anti, like let's say it has minority views. So people that would vote a certain way, but they're still in the minority, and then they rally at a at our nation's capital. Are they radicals or are they extremists?
I looked it up, and there's one author who thinks that the difference between radicalism and extremism. Radicalism is somebody, let's say, for example, who opposes the Constitution, but extremism is hostile towards it.
Well, I mean, like some people would say that January 6th was hostile.
Yeah, I'd say those people were extremists.
There were some hostile people there. I mean,
were they radicals? Sure, they were extreme in their beliefs, but were they radicals? They thought Donald Trump won, right? That was the whole thing.
Right. And I agree with you. So I think that maybe those in that situation, those people weren't necessarily
extremists. I would say the
radical.
only extremists there were really the federal agents doing all the inciting.
Sure.
So,
What about the people fighting for the Confederates? Were they extremists or radicals?
I would say they're just about neither.
Yeah,
they were neither radicals nor extremists. They were just
Well, I mean, you've got the Union, you got the Confederates, and they both held to their beliefs, which were ingrained in them from a very young age. Doesn't necessarily make them radical or extremist. Those were just, those were both accepted beliefs at that time.
It depends on how you're looking at it. Are you looking at the actions Abe Lincoln took to make sure the Confederacy did not leave the Union, make sure they did not break away? He did some very extreme, very radical things that he did. He expanded presidential power and governmental power that, hadn't really been seen before, to make sure that he didn't lose the power of the southern states.
Sure. Yeah. He flat out said something about whether freeing the slaves or not freeing the slaves makes no difference, just to keep the Union or the United States together.
Yeah.
In a
all
nutshell.
All he wanted to do was basically can preserve the Union and not let it be broken up.
So I would even go so far as to say what qualifies something as radical or extreme. Because so back to the Confederacy, like those were beliefs that were held by millions of people on both sides, and so were the Union considered the radicals? I mean, like what makes someone, or were the Confederates considered the radicals and extremists?
Yeah, good question.
What defines what's radical and extreme?
It depends on what the idea is. And back then, it was also geographical. So we're not so much geographical anymore.
Sure.
Within Georgia, there's blue. Within Alabama, there's blue. So when you look at what they were wanting, depending on what you believe they are fighting for or not fighting for, and the reality is, it was just one side tired of the other side, and then a whole bunch of stuff got dragged into it along with it.
But I guess, like, what defines something as being radical?
I would assume the idea.
I would also say the idea.
Where's that threshold? But where's that threshold of something being considered radical?
I think it depends on the person's view judging you. So you go do something.
I agree.
I would judge you based on what you did, based on my pre-existing thoughts. So if I was prejudiced against what you did, or if I was against you, maybe you went and you wanted to go protest on the 6th. And if I was like, well, no, Stacey Abrams was the governor. It depends on where your standpoint.
So to a conservative, I'm just going to use the January 6th as an example because that seems to be kind of a theme.
It's the recent one.
So if we have a Democrat, liberal Democrat, they're going to say January 6th was very much extremist.
Yeah.
But then we have a pro-Trump conservative that's going to say that wasn't extremist. We were defending what we believed to be true. And then you've got a middle-of-the-road conservative that says that was dumb. Y'all should not have gone. That was maybe borderline radical extremist. Where's so it's radicals and extremists. It's really in the eye of
it's all nuance.
Yeah, and I guess it's also how you interpret it. Like, do you see the people on January 6th as a protest? Kind of skewed in one direction, like kind of funneled in one direction, or was it people who genuinely showed up to do those actions? I don't think those people genuinely showed up to do those things. Look at the security footage; the doors were opened by the
kind of like got baited and into it.
Yeah, baited.
A lot of them did.
When an 80-year-old grandma
or whatever
is walking through, the White House with a cane, that's not extremism.
And pallets of bricks in downtown Minneapolis isn't also baiting.
The same thing happened there was random pallets of bricks found in Atlanta. It's in my opinion that when
U-Haul with a Nazi flag in the back, and that's weird.
Oh yeah, but let's see that most of that is federal extremism.
The feds are the most extreme. I want to join the FBI and have on my badge "Extreme Fed Boy."
But like with the 6th, when you look at CNN and everybody's like, "Oh, it's an insurrection." If the people who really thought you had to fight to keep the vote went there, you would have seen what an insurrection was. It would have been extreme. They might have been somewhat radical. You would know the difference. You would see the difference.
It is kind of weird that they painted January 6th as extremists, where it's like up until a certain point, it was a peaceful protest.
Exactly.
Like, why is a peaceful protest so radical? That's weird.
Because
but then you look at like all of the riots that happened, and like, well, was that extremist or was like?
I would say it was radicals being led by extremists, because not everybody who was there went to protest was expecting to burn a Wendy's down and kill a 13-year-old girl, but they did.
Right.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Grant. That somebody that's a radical can easily be led to extremism because they already have those thoughts and ideas implanted, and all it takes is just a little push.
Like, I think the extremism part comes from the action.
Yes.
Like, I'm very much so can be radicalized, but I haven't leveled any government buildings yet.
Yet.
What was
yet? Whoa!
I can't remember the cult leader, but he like actually didn't really do any crimes. He was an extremist by leading people. I don't no.
David Koresh?
No, I did write down David Koresh, and I forgot that.
I feel like
that's who I wrote down.
I mean, the same.
Not that cult leader, but he didn't actually do any crimes. But I wanted to say Manson, but I thought he actually did do some real bad shit. But he got everybody else to do his dirty work for him. I don't remember who it is.
I mean, so his hands are clean, but they're really not.
Right.
When did he do those things? You know what I mean?
Sure.
If I talk somebody
by extension
doing a bunch of things, you know, yes, you can't. In my opinion, you could probably be associated with it. But again, you didn't actually do it. You just sweet talk someone else into.
Right.
I don't know where the law falls on that one.
Neither do I.
And they don't either. And that's how they get you. A case could be made. Let's just throw him in jail just to be sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's throw 13 charges and hope 2 of them stick.
Yep.
What's the gosh, there was another back to the whole religious thing. What's the family 19 kids and counting?
Oh yeah,
y'all remember the Duggars?
Yeah.
So we were watching a TV show, or my wife was really watching. I was just kind of picking up bits and pieces of it, but about that cult that they were in.
Oh, I did hear about this.
The new thing that came out.
And it wasn't anything violent or extremist as you might label it, but the guy that was over the cult that they were in, you know, impacted a lot of people. And
were they in a cult though? Yeah. I thought they were just Mormon.
I thought it was like the whole family. Like the dad was part of like some family thing that's really odd. And
I don't know if it was the dad. I think it was one of the brothers, one of the older brothers, and the parents knew, but just didn't.
No, there was a lot of.
It's a whole lot of mess.
And I wasn't trying to get into all that necessarily, the specifics of that family, but they were part of a cult. That let me see.
You're gonna look it up. Okay, cool.
I am.
Yeah. So, go ahead. What'd you find?
Shiny apple people.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that I wrote down David Koresh.
But while he's looking that up, back to like the difference between radical and extremist. The whole Loudoun County thing. I don't know if y'all really kind of kept up on that.
Never heard of it.
Well, I'll send it to you after when we're done. Is the Loudoun County school system covered up some things that they shouldn't have covered up, and involving some particular students. And if that was me, and I'm just speaking of how I would honestly react, is because the situation semi kind of radicalized me against the school, even more against the school system. But if I had a daughter or a son in that situation, I would do extreme things to make it just. Because at that point, there wouldn't have been any justice done. But here, I'll find it.
Yeah, the Internet Institute of Basic Life Principles. That's the cult, the ministry, the cult that they were part of, and it was pretty what's the word? Not oppressive, but like they're very much like the women don't have not that the women don't have rights, but they suppress the women and like they were what's the guy's name? It's not Bill Gothard, is it? Is it Bill Gothard?
The last name sounds familiar. I don't know about the rest of it.
Yeah, Bill Gothard. Funny story. My family, when I was a teenager, took part of one of his seminars, and it was very interesting.
Do you remember this?
Interesting. I do very much remember it. I was like, that's kind of odd. It was just very like restrictive and like if you listen to a record backwards, they're putting demonic messages in your records, and I'm like,
Southern Baptist kind of thing.
Yeah, but to the extreme. But to the extreme. Yeah. So like, do you call that a radical or extremist? I mean, maybe
crazy.
I don't know. Crazy, yeah, maybe.
Just add another one in there.
Not all radicals are crazy, and not all extremists are crazy, in my opinion.
There is. I was listening to one thing. It was if you're psychotic, which very few extremists are actually psychotic. But if you're psychotic, you have more extremist and radical tendencies.
Interesting.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So at what point
I'm practically an expert after listening to a 30-minute podcast and not taking any notes.
I just thought you were saying you're crazy.
Yeah, me too.
It's like okay.
You want to come help me make something?
They so to put in perspective, kind of like what we were talking about is so like to certain groups, like my coworkers, I bet I seem like a radical and an extremist that I live out in the country and I have chickens and own a generator.
So
and
our preppers
try not to go to the grocery store every day.
But in a sense, okay, so if you compare preppers to today's culture and today's consumeristic mindset that goes back to the 50s, yes, preppers are considered radicals, if not extremists, because they're being looked at by the populace and being like, well, this is not the normal. Why are you doing this? You're crazy.
But pre-50s, it was the normal.
Yeah, it was normal because there wasn't a grocery store at every corner.
I even did a video. I did a video at some point last year that was like, hey, like our grandparents were the OG preppers.
Your grandparents were the OG preppers. My grandparents weren't. Their parents were. My great grandparents.
Okay, so my great grands probably were more like I was my great grandparents into.
I think we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah, well, for me, there's a whole generational difference. I was going to say, for me, my grandparents, my grandmother, when the lockdowns happen, I'm like, grandmother, look, you've got to have extra food because she can't go to the grocery store by herself. She doesn't like to. So I'm like, we'd go. I'm like, just get maybe 6 extra cans of food, but then she'll call you when she's eating those extra 6 cans of food. So she's like, I'm out of groceries. It's like, the pantry, even though she grew up with her parents, they had bees, they did cattle, they raised hogs, they farmed, acreage. Also, they could eat.
And but I guess what I'm getting at is like great grandparents, like they would grow their own food. They gardened, they canned it, they preserved it through the winter, and they ate it through the winter, and they rinsed and repeated every year. That was the OG prepper, in my opinion. We lived off the land. We didn't have a grocery store. Yeah, I mean, we could go buy things from the grocery store. Like we could buy this and that and get through like things that we couldn't grow. But for the most part, like they lived off the land, and now nobody lives off the land. Which I've seen a resurgence of people going back to homesteading, which is very, it's very much like uplifting and like positive to see that
surge. Yeah.
And what I'll say to that though is there's a huge surge of people doing that, but if you look out of a country of 330 million,
it's very few.
And then like for me, I'm like, sometimes it'll psych me out. I'm like, well, are too many people trying to grow produce for market? Are too many people trying to start a flower farm? But then when you look at all the people around you, like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And then you can then market to them, and then because they're never going to do it, they just want the idea of that.
Yeah.
So are people that grow their own food and live off the land and prepare and homestead, are they considered radicals or extremists?
I would say they're radical to a point of extreme, depending on what you do.
Oops. Wrong banner.
So
I was going to say that there's the true technical definition of the term, and then there's the common usage of it. When I looked up extremist, I found that it said derogatory. So technically, any action that's taken that is an extreme, even if it's a great action, is extremist. But when it's used derogatorily, say that right. Anyway,
it has a very negative connotation to it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
When it's said in that way, then you're asking whether these people are extremists in that definition.
And you gotta have to keep in mind, when those definitions changed, because if you notice, our media has been changing definitions of words for a long time to mean different things. So when they say this, it's a much watered down version of what the definition was in, say, 1998. Like if you go into the sometimes, depending on the specific words, the definition of the word is the definition of the word, which is not a definition. So,
wait, what?
There's a word for it, but they basically make, like, say the definition of this word basically reiterates the word. It's like, this is this because it's this. So it's just a circle.
Yeah, I can kind of get what you're. I can't think of one at the moment.
What's in this drink?
Like for me, I would say
I know what you mean.
version of prepping is off grid. I would say that's an extreme version of prepping.
Yeah,
because I think, in my opinion, I think it's a waste of time to go off grid. Use the grid while you have the grid to make it so when it goes off grid, you're good.
Which would mean
use the grid to go off grid.
Use the grid to be ready for when there is no more grid.
Yeah.
So say you're prepping for me. I'm prepping for the next 8 years, and the day I wake up and turn 30, there's no more power. Mm-hmm. So for the last 8 years, I've used power to prepare myself and my property. Yeah. So when time comes, I don't need power. I can
don't handicap yourself from the start. Yeah. You'd be way farther ahead 8 years from now. Yep.
But you could. I see what you're saying.
But just have things in place. So have a solar panel on your chicken coop, so we can still open and close the door. Have solar panels near your water pump. Use that to have everything set up. So when time comes to it,
you can rechargeable batteries with a small solar panel that'll recharge the batteries that opens your chicken coop.
Yeah, and then have a backup set of batteries.
That's what I've got.
It's also like
that's what I have.
Hey, it's important to have in-person community and whatnot, but you can still text those people and say, "Hey, how's it going? Keep in touch," instead of
let's grab a beer.
trying to keep in touch every month or whatever.
We had some dogs running on the street, running wild. We know who they belong to, but we couldn't do nothing about it. But they run there. They got 2 of my goats, and then they got 7 cats on the street. So we all be like, we're all they come around 2 o'clock in the morning. They make a round. They'll just patrol like a circle.
How many of them are there?
There's 2. And so
I've heard they don't taste bad.
I mean, I would if I was able to get one. I was gonna taste the hindquarters.
Oh God!
You can't waste.
I wouldn't put it.
Yes, you could. You could absolutely waste it. I threw a chicken in the ditch last week or
as many holes as I would have put through it. There might not have been anything left of it because I had my shotgun ready with.
Look! Use it. Hang it above the chicken coop. Feed the maggots. They'll drop and they'll feed your chickens, and then you get use it.
I actually heard people got sick off that. There was the wrong kind of maggots or something like that. Yep.
I don't believe it.
Oh,
I'll look into it.
Maggots yourself, but if it gets fed to your chickens,
nobody's talking about eating the maggots.
I mean, if it gets fed to your chicken,
something got messed. I don't know. Something got into it and they got sick. So
the chickens are the people.
Something got into the people that they got from the chickens. So whatever they ate from the chickens, they got sick off of. They're like, oh yeah, the whole black soldier fly larva kind of thing. But I don't think it was black soldier fly larvae.
But anyway, they have security cameras, and they get alerted when their security cameras go off, and then there's these 2 dogs. So I got a call one morning. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm up. Let's go. Game on. Shoes on. Outside. And
you didn't shoot them in your boxers?
No, trust me. So the night
he puts on face paint.
No, I just grabbed my 12 gauge and jumped out the door. It's a anyway. The gun doesn't matter. But the neighbors had shot at one of them one night, ended up hitting them. Someone had called the cops on them, and get this: 2 state troopers and 4 sheriffs, SUVs showed up at their house.
For a gunshot in the middle of the night.
We're in the country. We're on we're on the outside of the city limits. I'm like, what kind of response is that? 2 state patrolmen and then 3 sheriff's SUVs show up.
They heard that people were out shooting dogs and they wanted to get a piece.
yeah. And to me, I thought that was crazy because
it's extremists.
Exactly. Law enforcement are extremists.
They're the strong arm. Like they're the extremists of the
and they radicalized me.
Yeah. Like what radicalized you? Like you did.
Yes. Yes.
So I threw in a fun one at the end here. Is Alex Jones an extremist or just a radical?
I mean, I would say he's a radical because he doesn't do anything to the globalists.
He's
like
radical.
He should,
Yeah, he just does like
his little,
that's
fair.
His little bullhorn protests or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it'd be different if he started like removing said globalists. That like we need one of those, and we really do. But so far, he's just radical.
There may be an open position on the Alex Jones staff of someone that can take action.
Whoa!
An unpaid intern. No,
right.
I don't think I've listened to more than like 2 minutes of the guy.
I can only listen to him on Joe Rogan. I can't. I don't listen to his show. I can really only listen to him when he's being filtered through another show.
Sure,
you
can't let him take the reins.
Most of the time, it's so much information that he'll be doing on his show. Plus, I don't like that type of show. I've cut out all political shows. I can't do it anymore. It just makes me angry.
Sure,
I can't do it. Only thing I give a shit about is like Biden. This is so much more than the person who runs our country. We're not going to be able to vote our way out of it. It doesn't matter who's in our office.
No, the whole system has to burn down for it.
Fucked. I mean, you go back to 1971. Oh, sorry, I used foul language.
That's not what I'm making a face about.
Oh,
what are you making a face about?
We just got off of Alex Jones.
Yeah.
No, please, Grant, tell us about 1971.
We went off the gold standard. I mean, take it all the way back to that.
I did hear on a recent episode of Joe Rogan's podcast that Alex, like he and Alex Jones are actually friends. Like
really?
I don't remember. They worked at the same news station or something like that together. The same something network. I don't remember. But I guess in high school, Alex Jones like got in a fight and got dropped on his head on concrete, and that's what kind of made him messed up. And so maybe he to go back to how do you become a radical and then an extremist? So maybe if you already have
a baby.
I mean that doesn't that doesn't hurt, right? That doesn't hurt because
it does hurt. It doesn't help.
It doesn't help. He already has these ideas of these things, and then he hears conspiracy theories to link all the dots and yep, that's it. That's the only possible solution that could that ever exist.
If you take his word at face value and some of the things he said and how they follow to truth, is he crazy? You know what I mean?
Not necessarily. He's verbal clickbait. Right, the water's turning the freaking frogs
I mean, he just throws crap against the wall and sees what sticks.
The water was turning the frogs gay. I mean, if you look at the studies he was talking about, the water was turning the frogs gay.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
They weren't gay. They were changing.
Yeah, no. See, I had heard of this thing about the frogs well before I'd heard of Alex Jones. I'd seen on PBS, and when I saw
a PBS.
Yeah, on PBS.
That's exactly what PBS needs to be talking about. Is
Yeah,
gay frogs.
and so
that's
they were
probably
talking about
all
this,
they talk about nowadays, anyway.
Right? And then I saw Alex Jones being made fun of for the frogs are gay, and I'm like, okay, he's being kind of cute with it, but he's not wrong.
But it's somewhat true.
Yeah, it's not entirely wrong. Yeah, hyperbolic is the right way to say it.
Yeah.
So that's what he does. He just throws stuff against the wall, and that's why people say, "Oh, Alex Jones is right." Yeah, he's right about the three things or three, 1, 2, 3 things that that he's said in the last 5 years.
We don't have Secure Coop ready.
Right. 3 things, but the 800 things he said were not true. They're just
still
out there. So
but he got those. He got those 3 things right. He's a prophet.
Yeah. No, I agree, Christopher. Like people latch onto his work, like everything he says, and like
because
they become radicalized too because
of him.
Because of him.
Yeah,
they believe in so they see hope, or they see like an inkling, like you've got the you have the people that want everything to burn to the ground.
Yeah,
they want better. Leave me and the cat alone.
This is the cat dance section of the podcast, I guess.
Oh, that's great.
What happened to Jeremy? Oh, there he is.
I
was going to grab mine, but they ran.
Then we're gonna have a cat show. This has gotten weird.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks for getting you're finding new ways of getting the show off the rails.
This is getting extremist.
Oh man, what was that? I don't even remember what I was saying now.
You're talking about how Grant could be the new Axe Jones.
Like he just throws stuff against the wall.
See, I don't know where the globalists meet. He knows, I don't.
Apparently, he's been there.
Yeah. He went there in like the 90s. And he filmed it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's weird. Bohemian Grove.
Yeah. That's a good question. Good point. Like, how did he get in there?
Yeah, that seems weird. Yeah.
Controlled opposition.
Epstein.
Controlled opposition.
Yeah. Alex Jones
very well could be controlled opposition. But if you look if you look at everything as controlled opposition, it's just turn everything off.
Yeah, that's
turn it all off. You know what I mean? It'll drive you crazy.
Like, not everything can be a psyop. Like, this is weird.
Right.
I mean, most things are, but
I've given up watching any. I don't watch anything mainstream anymore.
Yeah, I used to watch Philip DeFranco, and then this is when I first got into news, and then he's kind of.
I would watch Tucker Carlson, and then I took him off.
Yeah, and then I went into.
Are you serious? I was like, who? Okay, do you actually watch Tucker?
I would every now and then. But I take him with a grain of salt, just like everything else. Like it's I don't anything that's on mainstream media. I listen to it as background noise.
They're all owned by like the same people.
Yeah.
Well, what Tucker does wrong is not what he says that's false. It's what he doesn't say. He leaves out a lot.
Well,
but what he really means, like what he really wants to say, is that?
Well, yeah.
Well, no, like he doesn't tell the whole story, so you don't get the whole story.
On purpose?
Yeah. I think so. You don't, and so when he tells you a fact and he tells you a thing that is true, when you're listening to him, the things he's telling you are true, but it's not balanced. It's not the whole story. You just get part of the facts, and it's to paint a picture so that you'll think a certain way and act a certain way.
I don't like the way he talks, so I don't listen to him.
Yeah,
he looks like a horse's rear end. It just looks.
I don't like the look on his face.
It just looks like a horse's butt.
But I don't watch any of it anymore at all.
Yeah.
Like I don't watch Fox, CNN, Newsmax. I don't watch any of it.
See, I never watched any of those. I get all my news from
TikTok.
I went from Crowder
by that British dude with the neon lights in the background. No, I'll send you a video.
I'm sorry. Have y'all seen the dude that he's like? I can't remember the guy's name. He's like, all right, let's look at the cereal aisle. And he's like,
yes, love that dude.
General Mills. It's Vanguard and BlackRock.
The dude with the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all right.
I've been watching.
So I started watching him, and he had like 40,000 followers. What is he up to now? Like
what
half
is
million
this?
or something like that.
Tucker Carlson without a nose?
No, it's him as a kid.
Baby Carlson.
Yeah. Ice cream isn't dinner.
They say, okay, well, why not? No one ever tells you because no one really knows. So what's really all is about? The answer is simple. Power. Good. What? Just extreme, like jump to the extreme. That's nice. I think the mainstream media is making radicals and extremists.
Yes.
Yeah.
They look.
Fair. That's fair.
They make us look like radicals and extremists. People like on the outside, like you can keep your bullshit.
And when you paint somebody as a radical or an extremist for caring about what goes on in the public school system directed towards young children, and then you call them radicals and extremists, it's going to make them radicals and extremists. It's just a matter of time.
So I had a friend that texted me a video today. Hold on a second. That made me think of this.
And that goes back to the Loudoun County assault case that I put in chat.
So there's a pastor that rebukes graphic school book. Oh, I gotta find this. Hold on.
There was one of a third grade child reading just straight up like gay pornography out of the library.
Gross.
I'm like, they're children, people.
Yeah.
They're children. None of that works yet. Quit. I mean,
quit.
Just stop.
Quit it.
Present.
Yeah. Present.
You ever watch Key and
Peele? I thought we were going to be like in the military for a second. Present arms. Where is it, Jeremy?
All right, hold
there
on.
It is.
Here we go. Can y'all see it?
This guy?
Yeah.
All right.
It's for you. It says after a bit, a person's becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard.
Can we even air this? This is terrible.
Stiff and larger.
Pastor.
Sometimes a bit
I don't know if we can
fluid that may contain two sperm comes out of the tip of the penis and makes it wet.
Can we, sir? I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? We have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you
like the way he
sit
talks.
back smug in your chairs, but you don't want me to read it. Why? Does it bother you? Yes or no? You can't answer that question. You want to know why? Because politically speaking, you can't say that it's wrong.
Got him.
Not bad.
Whatever. I guess I just won't air this one.
But like extremists, like our school systems.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why is that kind of stuff available in a school library?
When that doesn't get put in check, if that doesn't get put in check, then that is what is going to make extremists. Because the parents have already been radicalized with what they're showing to their children. If it doesn't get fixed, they're going to become extremists.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, can I put you on the spot?
Did I just get you like blacklisted? Yeah, sure. Why not?
No, he should be fine.
Have you looked at the books in your kid's library? Like I think you can go online and see the titles of the books and like cross-check them against like the whatever list.
All of them? No.
Well,
now, have I been
there's a search function.
Have I walked through my child's library or school? Absolutely. With him, we've looked at books, and he brings books home. I get to see what he reads. He reads a lot. Like that's one thing that I'll say. Like I'm super proud of him for is he reads. He's probably read more books by the age of 9 than I've ever read in my entire life.
Good,
smart.
He likes fiction and all that kind of stuff. But like it's so yeah. Like we've walked through the library with him.
How old is he?
Sure.
9. So have I looked at all the books? No.
If you come, I've got a book for you that get him started.
The Tuttle Twins
series, and he might like it.
What's it called?
Monster Hunter International.
He might.
There's like 12, 13 books to it. Simple, easy read. I love them. The next one doesn't.
He's into the Percy Jackson stuff right now.
If he likes that, he'll like this. This is just more guns and monsters instead of
Game On
swords and monsters.
But like But seriously, think about it. Like our education system is extremist.
Yes.
Radical.
Yep.
Because of the things that they allow into the school, into the
and
library.
They're saying the teachers that teach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
do they still make you do Pledge of Allegiance?
That
at the beginning of every
class.
class.
Talk about extremism. The pledge is indoctrinating kids at youth.
Well, if you want to go to that point, I mean, parents are indoctrinating kids with biblical teaching.
Well, that's true.
I mean, so what? Again, back to the original question: what defines radical and extremism?
I think I'd take it a religious extremist over a statist extremist any day.
Sure.
Well, I used to.
You and I might, but maybe not a statist.
Yeah, it really took me a minute to open my eyes towards the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, it's very strange to have a school full of children say it every morning.
It's very very Stalin-esque, isn't it?
I guess.
I mean, is it really so much different than
no, but I hear
saying good morning to the great leader of North Korea every morning? you're just doing it to
but you're not pledging allegiance to a person, though.
Aren't
you're pledging allegiance to an inanimate I can't say that word, an inanimate object.
Yes.
Do you think there's a difference to the kids?
Yeah.
Do you think they know?
Do I think there's a difference? No. Do I think there's a difference to the kids? Potentially. I mean, potentially not. I mean, like they just see how I'm pledging allegiance to whatever. But as you grow up and as you age, you understand it's a flag that represents our nation and represents freedom, not a person or an individual.
Sure. So how can we individually teach our kids like it's okay to love your country and not your government?
It's hard. I would say that'd be very hard.
So hold on, Matt. Can I put you on the spot?
No.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay. So like, do you think it's acceptable for someone to kneel during the national anthem?
I don't really care.
Okay. Fair enough.
They must be pretty tired of standing. Look, man, I got to tell you, when my dad and I would go to hockey games, and I'd get choked up at the national anthem. I wasn't as like a radical back then, but like I bet someone belts out the national anthem at a live event.
Yeah,
it hits you.
It gets you.
It hits you.
It's something, you know. That I would say the national anthem is different than the pledge. You know.
Yes, agreed.
The national anthem that'll put a tear in your eye, but the pledge, I feel like it's worded very particularly and purposefully, considering it's, I don't know, I just think it's weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember I was trying to go through all the words in my head. I'm like, it's kind of gray. It's not necessarily like
the pledge or the national anthem.
The pledge. It's kind of gray in that it could be skewed for I don't know, to make radicals, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's to make, I would say, to put you in a compliant mindset.
Sure.
You know? It's to, I mean, only thing public school does is makes good citizens. It makes you compliant and it makes you a worker bee.
Factory workers.
You
that's true.
You don't mind working, 40-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks for 40 years, and then your life's done spent. I wake up every morning to go to school, and I'm like, my parents go to work, and I'm like, how can I wake up for the rest of my life and go to work like this?
Well, and so like you look at homeschoolers, who some would consider to be radical and extremist.
Yeah, I was homeschooled.
Yeah, I was for 2. Well, I was for 2 years. But I look at a lot of homeschoolers. They grow up and they want to own their own business. They want to be entrepreneurs and make their own way instead
they have the true heart of a capitalist instead of cronyism.
Yeah, but to some, capitalism is radical and extremist.
Yeah,
that's
well, everybody is a heretic to somebody else. That's a fact.
Right. Yeah.
You're exactly right.
All right.
Everybody somewhere, somebody hates you.
Anything else?
I think we covered the topic pretty well.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, it was good discussion.
Yes,
it was good idea.
Maybe for now.
All right. Are we all radicals then? None of us are
radicals
None of us are
to be
extremists.
extremists.
So I think what I've come to the conclusion
aspiring
of
extremist
Yes.
is
Yes.
that everyone
It's the
is a
post-motion right now
radical
would be
in some way,
hilarious.
shape, or form.
That's true. To somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a
Everybody's
radical in
radical.
somebody's heart.
Like to my
Yeah.
sister, my parents are extremists.
Your
They're
parents
not.
sound cool.
They're awesome. My sister's just crazy.
Yeah.
So she's a radical.
Yeah.
Well, you both win.
Um,
All right.
All right.
Christopher,
Yes, sir.
do your thing.
So I'm trying to work on securecoop.com. It is a coop door opener with phone notifications, and I'm hoping it'll be ready in 3 months. And
I almost missed it.
So I work for a Fortune 50 company, and I have learned a lot about keeping servers active and live, and I'm applying those same principles down to the chick coop level. And so working on a coop door opener with phone notifications. Get on the mailing list, get the coupon below, and combine them together and get a free ebook at the website. The mailing list will tell you when the product is ready, when I can finally.
Wait, you got a free book?
Finish. Yes, sir. Get the
Is
book.
that new?
Where you been?
Is that new? Hold up. Is
No,
that
it's
new,
been
or have
there.
I just been ignoring you for the last 6 months?
You just haven't paid attention. Yeah, get the book. So
my headphones seem to cut out every time you mention that part.
Every point, every podcast at this point, it's just like, oh.
Yeah, get the book. So that's it. I'm working on that, and I'm hoping to come out with it this year. We're going through the beta test process now, and shaking out little bugs and things.
Excellent. Thank you. And Jeremy.
Do we like donuts on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and a little bit on Twitter just because of Matt. He pressured me into it.
Yeah, and then I bailed on that idea after
He did. He really bailed on it. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll do it again sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I'm on there.
Going live on Twitter seems better than going live on TikTok. So.
I disagree, but okay. But yeah, prepping, homesteading, chickens, gardening, all that good stuff. Harvesting onions. That was today.
Hats.
Yay.
Dude, don't. Where is it? Oh, it's in the garage. Dang, that hat. All right, now hold up.
Oh, does it only work because you're bald?
That's what I said. I was such a dickhead.
So
it's not even fair.
So my son, he puts it on. I put it on him, and he's like, "Can you feel it?" He goes, not really." I'm like, "Well, I can feel it great because I have a zero hair up there." It feels amazing. Like it's just like a constant stream of air on my bald head. Yeah, it cools me off really. Like I love it. Nice. It's amazing. Yeah, it was worth every penny. $60
for the,
like that.
It's almost.
Yep, he paused.
Damn it! There I am. I'm trying to describe it for people on the audio. It's almost like a cowboy hat, but not quite. It's just like a gardening hat with a solar panel on top. He's gonna go grab it. All right, Grant, that guy. Too busy.
I've been thinking more about posting.
You have been posting more the last couple of days
on Twitter. I've been posting on Twitter. Today, I talked to a Chicken Whisperer, and I was thinking.
But you've been active on TikTok though.
Yeah, I've been active on TikTok. I've been sending stuff to y'all. But I'm gonna do a video on Calicia. I was at some church friends, house the other day.
Fit on my head with the
It can go around your back of your neck, dude.
That's hysterical.
Shut up, man.
Oh, look at that head, bro. No wonder you wear a hat.
That's so fun.
I love the hat, though. I love it. I love the hat. I do
too. It's amazing. It really is.
That's really funny that you made your son try it.
Until it's shaded, and then when the shade goes down, it's like.
Yeah.
Well, then you shouldn't need the fan anymore.
Yeah, you shouldn't need the fan.
Yeah, but you're still,
Yeah,
it's still
you'll-
hot. I
you'll-
mean, we're in
you'll-
Alabama.
I
dude.
get it, man. I'm just being a dickhead again.
I know you
So-
are. I know you are.
So I've been
You do
thinking
it
about
well.
doing a video on Calicia because I was talking with Chicken Whisperer, and he made a post about amaranth. But Sunday we were eating at a friend's house, and they have some Calicia that have just come back every single year, and it grows and flowers. But Calicia is a type of amaranth, and it's completely edible, but it's a bedding plant. So I kind of talked with him on Twitter about it, and he's like, "That's just the way God works. Is put something on my mind and his mind, and then it comes together." I just so happen to be scrolling as I'm in class, and so I may go to a trip to Lowe's and see if I can find some Calicia and then do a TikTok on Calicia.
Yeah,
It's called Coxcomb.
Probably do well.
I mean, probably
You
not
gotta
because I
you
did
gotta
it.
start- You gotta start posting again, man.
I do. I need to. There's another lady who did tote. I sent you the tote raised beds, and I'm gonna do a video
Yeah.
with her, asking how I like it. I'm just gonna do a video of my garden and how I like it.
Look, man, I figured I can fit 16 totes in my trailer.
Yeah, I know.
I'm tempted to come down there.
I
And get
told
some.
you I'd give him to you if you came and got him.
But I don't know where I would put 16 totes in my yard.
Everywhere.
The
What do you
tote
mean?
tower. Make a fort for the kids.
There you go.
My wife might not appreciate it.
Don't invite her to the fort. What's the problem?
Boys
And then I'll
only.
be sleeping in it.
Boys only.
All right, let's wrap this up. And I'm Matt, farmhoplife.com. I do interviews, tours, and this men's forum. Let's see, next week. Let's see, what are we doing next week? I was thinking, I got this concept. We'll talk in just a second.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.